Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Can you guess what I'm reviewing today? The new Urban Decay Wild West palette. So if you're interested, keep watching and let's do this. Alright, so this is the all new Urban Decay Naked Wild West palette. This is the box. It looks just like the packaging. And let's say this is 100% vegan. About time, right? I think every makeup brand should be 100% vegan. I mean, come on, it's 2021. What's going on? So the package is so nice. It's definitely upgraded from their earlier, which in my opinion, from that tin packaging. It's the plastic, real hard plastic. It has a real long mirror, and then you have the shades, which I will do some swatches for you, and then I will show you how I got this eye look. Let's talk about this palette. Now, my favorite palette out of the Naked palettes was definitely the Naked 2 palette. That was just my favorite, and at the time I think it was my most favorite palette there was. The colors in that palette really spoke to me. I really love that palette. I had a great time with that palette. If I pulled it out of my organizer, it's probably got hit pan on a lot of shades. So Urban Decay, if you want to send me another Naked 2, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah. Now, in that saying, I was not really a big fan of the Naked palettes because they was all neutral, and I'm not like a neutral kind of gal, or I wasn't really a neutral kind of gal when it was coming out. So it wasn't the formula at all. It wasn't the brand. It was just that those palettes really didn't speak to me. As for who I would recommend this palette to, I would recommend this palette for anyone that likes this color story. Definitely. If you love the color story, it's gorgeous. It spoke to me personally. And if you are someone like myself that loves eyeshadows and you look at this palette and it just speaks to you and you need it in your collection, definitely this is something that I would recommend. It's beautiful. Also, if you're a fan of the Naked line, you would love this. Now, someone I wouldn't recommend this palette for, if you are one of those people that are one and done palettes, like you have your palettes and you stick to these palettes, you don't dig into other palettes, you find that palette that you love, you stick with it, and if you have these shades in your other palettes, that's somebody I would not recommend this palette for. If you could find these shades in your collection, I mean, you don't need it. I'll always be honest. And also, if you do love collecting eyeshadows and this color story does not speak to you, say no, you don't need it. So let's get into some swatches. So I'm going to start with the lightest shades first in the palette. So I'm going to start off with the first shade, which is Standoff. I'm going to give you 2 swatches of each. This is the lightest shade. It's a soft beige matte. So that's just one swipe. The second shade in the palette is going to be Spur, which is a pale peach matte. Then you're going to have a shade called Nudie. None of these shades had any kickback at all. This is a light warm brown matte. That's one swipe. These are great transition shades for a lot of different skin tones. Then we're going to have our first shimmer, which is Hold'em. It's a warm bronze, metallic. Let's swipe that one once more. Then we're going to have Cowboy Rick, which is a warm silver metallic. And I'm wearing my snakeskin shirt because I'm wearing it. Then we're going to have Laredo, which is a taut matte. That's one swipe. Definitely a lot of pigment in this palette. So you have a lot of pigment in these shades. So if you work on one of them, you want to be careful, because if you go on in and you think you could build, you know, it's a shade that you have to build up, you don't have to build it up. It's there. That color is there. All right. So that was the first 6 shades. Then we're going to get into the last 6 shades, which is going to be Bud. It is a soft turquoise, however you say it, don't make fun of me. Which is really pretty. Then you're going to have Rustler, which is a deep copper. I really love this shade. That's pretty. Then you'll have Ghost Town, which is a terracotta matte. Then we'll have Whiskey, which is a rich brown matte. See, those shades have a lot of pigment. That's one swipe. I didn't even have to use 2 swipes on those swatches. Then we're going to have Tex, which is a deep blue green matte. Look how pigmented this shade is. That is pigment. That's pigment right there. And then we're going to pony up. I haven't used this shade. I'm interested to swatch it. It's a cool slate matte. I definitely love those types of colors. Grays, and that's pretty. Let's give that one another swatch. So that one is definitely not as pigmented as the other mattes, but definitely build it up to be darker. So these are all the shades swatched in the palette. Alright, so those are all the swatches in the palette. The only thing I will say is, with all the like monochrome and, you know, all those shades coming out right now, I wish they would have just threw one of those in there. Come on, Urban Decay, come on, jump on the bandwagon, right? I would have loved to see one of those shades in there. I would love to see that. That would have been like the, you know, the icing on the cake. So let's get started on this eye look. I'll show you how I got this eye look. All right, guys, ready, set, eyes. Let's do it. All right, let's start digging into this makeup and do this look, girl. Let's start digging into this eyeshadow palette. First, I'm going to take this shade right here called Ghost Town. I'm going to put that in my crease. I'm going to use a kind of a big fluffy blending brush. This is the Makeup Institute brush S210. And I'm going to put that in my crease. It's it's real powdery when I press into the shade with my brush. Let's get this done. I'm going to put this all in my crease and just work that in the crease. I'm going to hold my brush right at the bottom. So first off, I noticed that it's a lot of pigment. All right, let's just blend this in. So that shade was very pigmented. Ooh. That is so pretty. I'm just going to work this in right here in the center. Now I'm going to pick up this shade right here called Whiskey. It's a rich dark brown color, and I'm going to pick up my Hank & Henry brush called Liz. I'm going to put that one, I'm going to focus that one directly in my crease and kind of stay to that area. Just blending it in. I'm going to go back in with a little Ghost Town because I don't want to lose that shade right there and just lightly dust. So what can I say about the mattes that I've tried so far? Are very pigmented. So if you have a heavy hand, just watch out. There's going to be a lot of pigment all at once, which is not a bad thing for me because I like that. Some people do like to build up color, but those two mattes, you know, the pigment was there. Now I'm going to try one of the shimmer shades in the palette, which is Rustler. Right here. I'm going to put that on. I'm going to grab me a brush like this, and I'm going to pack that in and try to lay that down right here. Not too high, not too high. Alright, with the same brush, I'm going to go into another shimmer shade, which this is Hold 'em Cow. Girl. I'm going to put that. I'm using the same brush. Not wet or anything. I'm trying to see how these shades perform. And I'm just going to put it right here. That's so pretty. Very pretty. Alright, so then I'm going to go in with a fluffier, longer brush. This one is Meg from Hank & Henry. I'm going to pick up, I like how they have a bunch of different shades if you do transition colors on this row right here. These can definitely be used for a variety of different skin tones. So I'm going to pick up the shade Spur and kind of blend this a little bit out, and I'm going to hold my brush at the end and just slightly dust it all over that just to make it blended. Now I didn't notice any kickback in the pan from using the lighter shades as I did with the darker shades, the darker matte shades in the palette. Let's see. I think I'm going to line my eyes with, I'm going to use this shade right here called Text. Why not? Let's throw it in. It is that deep blue green matte. I'm going to use the Hank & Henry. It's an angled brush from the blue collection. And I'm going to use that to line my eyes. I'll just press that in and kind of work it up. And kind of wing it out a little bit. This matte does have a little kickback in the pan also. I'm not seeing a lot of fallout though. I'm not seeing hardly any fallout. I might take that Whiskey shade again with the same brush and kind of go over that just to deepen it up a little bit right there. I like that though. I like to give it a little more depth in that area. That looks pretty. Cowgirl, baby. Cowgirl, baby. Alright, I'm going to go do the rest of the other eye, and then I'll come back and finish the eye look. Alright, now let's finish off the look. I'm going to take my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil and Whiskey, and I'm going to line my eyelids, and I'm going to tight line the top. This is one of my favorite brown eyeliners. And then, let's see, I'm going to take this text color again, and I'm going to line my lower lash line with that shade on the outer third. I'm going to use my S203 brush from the Makeup Institute and just meet my wing. I'm going to stamp that right there and just meet my wing that I made on the top. I had fun playing with this palette. It's super easy to work with, and it didn't take that long to do the eye look, so that's always nice. And then I'm going to take this shade right here called Bud, which is a shimmery shade. It's like a turquoise, however you want to say it. I'm going to put that, I'm going to try to focus that right here. That's pretty. Oh, that's pretty. And then I'm going to take another shimmer shade, which is Cowboy Rick, right here. And I'm going to use that for my inner corner highlight. I'm going to use a little highlight. I'm going to use that shade for my inner corner highlight. Let's see how it looks alone. Very pretty. I love how they threw that color in there because I love a good color that really brightens up that inside of the eye. That's so pretty. I'm going to use that right here on my arch. Then I'm going to blend it out a little bit and we will be done with this look. Just going to blend it, kind of meet that other thing, make everything blended. I'm going to put on a little mascara. Alright guys, this is the end of the look. I hope y'all enjoyed reviewing this palette with me. Y'all like the way it come out? I like it. I think it's cute. Alright y'all, y'all have a blessed one. Until next time.